Mother's Day, everyone. Thank you. So before we do one more thing, we have our traditional honoring of the moms. And then we'll welcome the newcomers. But this is before the children go back so they can participate as well. So would all of the moms please stand for a lot of appreciation? So, and now, stay standing. So now everybody that has been like a mom, that's an adoptive mom, a child caretaker, a nanny, a dad that had to be a mom too, all of those caretaking, nurturing people, stand up and let's love you. And so now would the grandmothers remain standing? Woo! And now would the great-grandmothers remain standing? No great-grandmothers anymore. Remember Jackie Barnes? We had to go to great for her. So we just remember Jackie and come on, let's talk to those young people. So welcome here on a Mother's Day celebration day. And now before the message, I want to welcome another group of people. Those of you who are here for the very first time or newish, you don't have one of our newcomer packets yet, would you just please hold your hand up and someone will put a little present right in your hand so that you can find out about us. And we welcome you here. This is kind of a different Sunday, but every single Sunday is fabulous and fun. You're here at the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, where our vision is awakening personal transformation. Okay, there it is. The vision is awakening personal transformation, and our mission is teaching tools for positive change. We are in the midst of a year-long theme, which is a world that works for everyone. This is our vision, our theme. It's what we talk about, and those tools for transformation. This is about creating a world that works for everyone. This May theme is also something that we're working through this month, and that is spiritual guidance and personal responsibility, which I'm going to talk about today within the theme of Mother's Day. And then my title for today is It's Never Too Late for the Great Mothering Lessons. So what I wanted to start out with about that is that whether or not you're a mom, there are mothering techniques, there are nurturing behaviors, there are ways of being that we celebrate today. Whether you've ever born a child, whether you've ever taken care of a child, you've taken care of somebody. And if you haven't taken care of somebody, I bet you will, because that's just kind of what we do, where there's too many of us for any of that nurturing behavior to be left out of anybody's experience. So way over and above biology, the biology of childbearing, there are these nurturing lessons that are celebrated today. And that's what I want to do, to celebrate that within every single one of us. We all have the divine feminine within us, and we celebrate her today. I'm going to read a little something that says exactly that from one of Jean Chenot de Bolin's books. And she writes, "A person does not have to be a biological mother in order to be an initiate into the maternal aspect of the Godhead. It comes through one's own embodied maternal and feminine nature, though when one feels one's kinship with women and with animals and with nature, this is brought to the fore. Her psyche, this is the Divine Mother's psyche, resides in anyone's body, And her wisdom grows out of an instinctual knowledge of what to do with her hands, the goddess's hands, and body to soothe, to comfort, or to take charge of a situation that calls upon her. One taken by the divine feminine responds to a woman in labor, an animal with a paw in a trap, a woman in hysterical grief, a terrified child too young to understand what is happening, with a maternal authority that others instinctually recognize. When the Divine Mother takes charge by doing whatever needs to be done, we know that Mother has arrived. And so that Mother is in all of us today, and that's what we celebrate. I want to tell a story about when I discovered the Divine Feminine. I was already a minister. I had prayed many prayers. And 23 years ago, I went to the first Woman's Spirit retreat that was a 23-year habit for me after that. But my first Woman's Spirit retreat, I wasn't really in charge of anything, thank God, because I was just a puddle. I was a puddle. I learned many of the chants that we sing now, many of the chants that have the goddess as the theme of the chant. And in this retreat, they celebrated divine feminine power. And hearing the stories for the first time of the goddess and the variety of goddesses, I came away from that retreat transformed. It was like many of you when you come to the Science of Mind Church, if you've never been to a Science of Mind Church before, or if you have had negative religious experiences in your past, and you come to here and you get the message that you're perfect, whole, and complete just as you are. You are a precious, unrepeatable miracle just as you are. The infinite presence lives in you, and you can't do anything about that. That's just the way it is, and you don't need to worry about anything anymore because, there's no hell. And then people say, I never knew there was a place like that taught those things. And that was my experience with Woman's Spirit. I never knew that the goddess was still worshipped. And for me, especially because I didn't have a dad during all my childhood. And so the God-he concept was philosophical to me. It wasn't in my heart. And when I came away from Woman's Spirit, it was I understood everything. I understood the mountains. I understood the heavens. I understood the ocean. I understood creativity. I understood memory. I understood connection with one another. I understood everything because it seemed to me that everything was feminine. And then, this was really funny because I brought this back to our center, and I started, weaving in stories of goddesses and everything. And I actually think it was Kathy Fowler who came up to me and said, is the Science of Mind a goddess religion? and then I realized I might have taken this a little bit too far, that my personal journey was taking over a little bit too much. But I'm back in it today, let me tell you. I am back. So, I usually bring you things from Facebook, and the inspiration for this talk today is actually not Facebook, but it is Google Images. Because what happened was I went to Google Images to get some beautiful pictures of goddesses and get inspired for the talk. And up at the top, they had a category bar, and you could click on different categories for goddesses. And so there are 6 divine qualities that I thought were so great that they could be the curriculum in any mystery school, and who knew it was on Google Images? So we have those 6 divine qualities that I'm going to talk about today that really are qualities exemplified by different goddesses throughout history and ancient history, but they live in us. Because the teaching is every single thing is already given to us by the infinite presence, whether we call that he, she, or it. Every quality of being is continually being given. And so when we identify with a feminine quality, it's just that we're identifying with a feminine quality, no matter what our biology happens to be. So each goddess and each archetype is a doorway into the infinite presence. And we can use that quality for our own lives and to give it again. And it's available through story and prayer and archetypal image and so forth. But I want you to know that Science of Mind is not predominantly a goddess religion, but here today it is. So, are you ready? All right. So, the 6 divine qualities of the feminine as exemplified on Google Images. So, Aphrodite. Aphrodite is the Greek goddess of love. So love is the first quality that comes up for goddess. And I know that most of you know that Aphrodite, oh, by the way, the Divine Mother is alive and well on our altar. And every single thing about this altar, our own mothers, that image of ancient fertility, and the new images of this springtime are all on our altar today, created by Mark Cooper. And Mark is a trained artist. What is that shape of the drape, dear?
That's an arabesque.
An arabesque. See, isn't that amazing? That orange drapey thing right there. That shape is an arabesque. So, Aphrodite is the goddess of love, and mostly when you see an image of Aphrodite, you see a whole nude feminine form, and she is known obviously for her attraction and her sexual appeal and her ability to just break down all the barriers and get down. You know, this is a goddess that knows how to give and receive pleasure. And that pleasure, and you know what I'm talking about, is absolutely essential for species survival. And I want you to know that the love that Aphrodite gives forth is not just heterosexual reproductive love. It is the love of children and protecting them. It is the love of a partner and the ability to create an environment that is full of warmth and growth. It is a love that is the basic connection of civilization so that it can warm to each other and continue. It is that love that would heal every single conflict, internationally and interpersonally. It is a love that creates a space that makes people comfortable. And I want to go into this a little bit more. She exemplifies a love that makes a space so that people can be comfortable in the space and not defended and not angry and not competitive and not scared and not worried. And this energy is available to every single one of us. So I want to read to you a little bit of a story about an ancient a courtesan, actually, who her name was Phryne, and she lived in ancient Greece, and she was a priestess of Aphrodite. Phryne, who was not just a courtesan but also a priestess of Aphrodite, stood accused of sacrilege. She had, it was said, invented a god, an act of imagination absolutely forbidden to mortals. To understand the atmosphere in which this trial was conducted, the contemporary mind must reach back to a time when religion and government were not separated, and hence worship was at the heart of civic life. So, Phryne had a lawyer who was defending her named Hyperides. The argument Hyperides made was that as a priestess, Phryne had been channeling Aphrodite. The goddess herself, he reasoned, was expressing her will through Phryne. However, Hyperides also realized that this argument was not going to fly with the jury, that it was a logical argument, and this whole atmosphere in the courtroom was charged with emotion. And they could say, well, yes, this is true. However, she also recreated or imagined a new god, and that's heresy. So Hyperides did something very, very different. Hyperides knew that to win his case, he had to present the court with a revelation. So it was that while Phryne was standing in the witness box, he asked her to remove her clothing. The strategy worked. According to reports that have come down to us through the ages, awestruck by what they saw, the jurors quickly declared that the presence of Aphrodite was the only possible explanation for such beauty. I'll just read that again. According to reports that have come down to us through the ages, awestruck by what they saw, the jurors quickly declared that the presence of Aphrodite was the only possible explanation for such beauty. So what we have is Phryne, a mortal, channeling the energy of Aphrodite that was so powerful that the aggressive, combative nature of a court was calmed by her presence. And this kind of love is available to all of us. It's alive in women, it's alive in men. And I was thinking about the men in our community. And you know, all you have to do is be in a room that Jay Gustafson is setting up for an event. And the love of Aphrodite is in him. Every single conflict or potential conflict dissolves. And it's just like love and let's get it done. So that's available to all of us. Next we have Athena. Athena exemplifies the divine quality of wisdom. Athena is a very, very different goddess from Aphrodite. And this is when we need spiritual guidance. And spiritual guidance is one of the qualities that we are talking about this whole month of May. So when you need to know the right path, when you have already been asking the big questions, and the big questions, remember, are not what do I want in this situation, but what wants to happen. That's the big question, what wants to happen here, and what is for the good of all and the harm of none. When you ask those big questions for a group, the wisdom of Athena is available because she knows the path for the greatest good for all. Athena is the patron goddess of Athens, and she indwells both the heroes of war and of peace. She indwells the people of government. And so Athena is going to be really important in the next 6 months, if you know what I mean. So her symbols, one of her symbols is an owl, underscoring her wisdom and far-seeing. And so this is a little piece about Athena. The martial and domestic skills associated with Athena involve planning and execution, activities that require purposeful thinking. Strategy, practicality, and tangible results are hallmarks of her particular wisdom. Athena values rational thinking and stands for the domination of will and intellect over instinct and nature. So this is a goddess that is supportive of patterns and processes being effective. So when I thought about our community, we have Scott Murchison over there with our new teen program. And we have Reverend Catherine Sachs, who is intimately involved with a number of things in this community, including a whole new member program. And so I'm thinking that the quality of Athena is alive and well in those. And so when you have a project for work, when you have a project where you are managing people, even in a home situation, that ability to ask for divine wisdom so that there is a path that is for the good of all and the harm of none, that is filled with love as well, because all of these goddesses are filled with love and well-being for the people, that energy of Athena is something that you can call on. And if you don't want to call on Athena, you simply call on the quality of wisdom that has that element of the good of all and the harm of none in a system, and you want the path that's for the good. That's it. It's given. It's always available to you. Okay, we got love and wisdom, and now we have Artemis. Artemis is the next goddess, and actually, this is a depiction. We've got the goddesses pinging so much. Does anybody know where? Let's just silence that for a moment. What? The goddesses are so, they are so activated. They're like, finally she's talking about us. So can we possibly ignore that ping? Okay, all right. So Artemis usually is not depicted like this. Artemis is usually depicted as a, okay, we're taking the iPod and we're going to put it outside. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to continue. All right, so Artemis is usually seen as a wood nymph, kind of in a tunic. She has a bow and arrow. She has her companions, usually a stag and a hound. And she is a virgin goddess that is all about wildlife, especially young wildlife, including teenagers. Wildlife, including teenagers. But she is also a goddess of fertility. See those breasts? So this is a kind of a really interesting dichotomy, because Artemis is one of the virgin goddesses, but fertility has to do not only with making the babies, but keeping the babies alive, right? We can't just make the babies, we got to keep the babies alive so that the next generation is assured. And so this exemplifies the support for all of life. Artemis is passionate for causes about humanity and nature. And a little bit about her. She roamed the wilderness of forest, mountain, meadow, and glade with her band of nymphs and hunting dogs, dressed in a short tunic, armed with a silver bow and quiver of arrows on her back. She was the archer with unerring aim. As the goddess of wildlife, particularly young wildlife, she was associated with many undomesticated animals that symbolized her qualities. The stag, doe, hare, and quail all shared her elusive nature. Interestingly, the bear was an appropriate symbol for her role as protector of the young prepubescent Greek girls consecrated to Artemis, and they had a name, a Greek name called Arctoi, or female bears, during the tomboy phase of their lives. So isn't that adorable? So Artemis is the goddess that helps the mothers of all species care for their babies. All of wildlife, as I said, including teenagers. So if we go out and serve an environmental cause, we are evoking the energy of Artemis. When we support anyone we love, we call upon that passionate support in the Artemis archetype. And so that is available to men, women, everybody, and that energy is right over there in the cafe. I'm telling you, Artemis is all over that business over there. So next is nature herself, Mother Gaia. So this is the green goddess, is in many, many forms, and she supports all green life on Earth. The energy and harmony and cooperation with the natural world is a part of the goddess in this configuration. So I thought that I would read to you about this, another story from Findhorn. Many of you know that I'm enamored of Findhorn. I've told you many stories about this. Basically, the short version, for those of you that haven't heard, Findhorn is now a retreat facility in northern Scotland, but it was started by a family who listened to what they referred to as the nature devas, the devas of each species. And they communicated with the people, and they grew this amazing garden that was actually worldwide news because the vegetables and the fruits were so big and beautiful and wonderful, and the family just said, well, we just listened to the angels. And I mean, they did this on national television. So this is a story about the angel of Findhorn, who was formed as Findhorn came about. I think we have some teens in the back. Would one of the ushers please go and help the teens? Okay, good. Yes, just there you go. Artemis, go help the teens. Okay, so this is about the Findhorn angel, and this is about Green Mother. By springtime of our second year at Findhorn, the landscape angel told us that our garden was becoming more united and whole, and that as this took place, an angelic being, a sort of guardian angel for our area, was forming. The angel of Findhorn is a composite being, born from the substance of our thoughts and ideals, the radiations of the land, and the energies of the higher selves of not only the humans working on the land, but all of the animals and plants as well. And so, when at last it was fully formed, the Findhorn angel presented itself to us. I take my stand with my brothers, tall and one in essence. Immensely vigorous and vital am I, with a role that reaches to the four corners of the earth and beyond. I am the spirit of a place, yet how much more? You are limited human beings, but you are gods in the making. We are one because we have all been given life. So what this says to me is that the goddess, as nature herself, is available to us when we go shopping for green things, when we work in our own garden. I mean, I pretty much know that I have an angel of the roses in my backyard. And my cats know this. And well, that's another story about the cats and the garden. But they know that there is this energy there. And we all work with it. And you can too. Anytime you handle a green growy thing, you are handling the body of the green goddess. Next is the goddess of peace. Now, this is the earth goddess holding the earth, and the substance of this is peace. Peace for all living beings on that blue dot. Peace and harmony for everyone together. So the green goddess is about the growies, and the earth goddess is about everything else as well. So this aspect of the infinite is about loving all of the children on earth equally. All of the four-leggeds, all of the two-leggeds, all the crawlies, all the winged ones, and how peace can be brought in an instant to any situation. And so when you want peace in a situation, you are calling on one of these goddesses. That Tara is one of the Hindu goddesses, the goddess of peace. We sing the Tara chant when Anton Miserak is here, yes. So that's the Tara chant is about peace, world peace. So world peace can be in your life in an individual situation anytime you want it, because these qualities are continually being given and given and given and given. Lastly, on my Google list of qualities was this goddess, who is Dike. Dike is the Greek goddess of justice. And this echoes, I think, the other aspect of this month's theme, which is personal responsibility. Because our life, and this is direct teaching from Science of Mind, and direct teaching from Dike, actually, with justice, is that our life and all that's in it is absolutely our responsibility. Our creation, our responsibility, our evolving project. If you feel like this is not true, or if you feel like you have no idea what I just said, or if you feel like I would really like to be responsible for my life because I think I could do it better if I took charge, get a prayer from a practitioner, because this is the balance of energy of justice says, it's very simple. What we put out, we get back. So this is an echo of all the other goddesses. If we put out love, we get that back. If we put out harmony, we get that back. If we put out nurturing, we get that back. And that's why the world of the goddess is so nurturing, luscious, connecting, yummy, because everything that nurtures the peeps, everything that nurtures all the little godlings, is given and given and given and given. And if we accept it with this idea of justice and what we put out, we get back, if we accept it and give it out again, then that is a continual, wonderful rolling of all the life-giving qualities that will create heaven on earth for us. So when we bring forward this quality, which is blind to individuality, that's why she's got a blindfold on. I mean, you can be a poor person, a rich person, an old person, a fat person, any kind of person you judge yourself to be, but what you put out, you get back. End of story. That is the essence of justice. So here we have the qualities of the goddess: love, wisdom, fertility, nature, peace, and justice, the gifts of the goddess. And our ability to accept them, to use them, and to give them back again is the lesson of the infinite divine feminine presence. So, in conclusion, there's one more wonderful thing that is about this Sunday, and that is, and this is, some will ask me, is the Science of Mind a zodiac religion? Well, the new moon, which is happening now, it is 4% waxing. It's a little sliver in the sky, is the new moon in Taurus. So listen to about the new moon in Taurus. The new moon in Taurus calls us to ground into Mama Earth and fully embrace and embody the multicolored spectrum of our human experience in all its beautiful fullness. Of all the signs of the zodiac, Taurus is the sign that represents Mother Earth. It is aligned with nature at her most open and fertile. The lunar month is about embodiment, sensuality, and manifestation. So, there is an innate fertility in Taurus that urges us to plant a seed, any seed, and watch it grow. So, on the altar, there are 2 dishes of seeds. One is a fava bean, one is a sunflower seed. You are welcome to take one or more and plant them with intention. as I am going to do, as the new moon starts waxing even more in the house of Taurus. So I want to say one more thing about the whole goddess stuff, the zodiac stuff, because you don't hear about this very much in Science of Mind, because in the pure essence of our philosophy, it is done unto you as you believe, and the life in you is divine. That's the lesson. Over and over and over and over for 25 years I've said this, and more before me. In my practice, whatever helps me believe is something I use. And so the goddess archetypes help me believe in my blessings. The new moon in Taurus helps me believe in the manifesting power of my intentions. And so if you like this stuff, take it and use it. But the basics, whether you embellish it with archetypes or zodiac or stories from antiquity or stories from your grandmother, the stories are what help you believe. That's why we have all kinds of teachers that teach all kinds of classes, because everybody has different stories and everybody has a different way of helping you believe. So that is the basic message for Mother's Day, and that's it. And the spiritual principles. The first is, the life-supporting qualities of the infinite are always available. And the second is, each of us is a part of the holy delivery system. So you have two spiritual practices that I want you to do this week as well. And the first one is, bless your mother, no matter what realm she's in, and make a nurturing intention, either with a seed, without a seed. Make a nurturing intention, because the world is ripe for the gifts that you have to give. So, let's do the inner work. Precious Divine Mother, my home, my energy, the one who lives through me, work in me today to be, to do, to have, and to give your divine qualities. May I love without limit. May the wisdom of your heart live in my heart. And may I do no harm. May I instead make the world a better place, because you are in me and I am expressing you. May the fertility of my intentions be so vigorous that all of my dreams, or rather your dreams through me, are made manifest for the good of all and the harm of none. May my children, the children who came through me, and the children that I nurture in the world, representatives of your fertility in the world, may they also have the answer to this prayer. May I commune with nature every single day. May the green that is in the world fill my heart, my body, and heal anything that is disharmonious. May the peace that passes understanding be in my heart and in my actions. May those who are in my presence be able to take a deep, loosening breath just because they are next to me and I exude your peace. And finally, may the harmony and the balance of justice be so powerful in my word and in my actions that I am congruent with your divinity, always and forevermore. And may anyone here who also wants the answer to this prayer simply be open to receive, because I know it is already given. And so it is. Amen.